Welcome to a bit of a negative video about the Darkest Dungeon to you nebulous bastards. Before I start talking about things I don't like, have to commend the game for being again a fantastic product, full of great things that I adore. This video is something of a tough love, and you might completely disagree with me, which is absolutely fine. I might have missed some things, and that is why a couple points might not be even relevant. Also, full game has not been released yet, and I have no idea what they plan on changing. In my opinion, game has too much RNG, some of which affect enjoyment and build up the annoyance factor fast. So let's get started on things I'd like to see changed. Diseases. I don't see a point in this mechanic. Enemies can't get it at all, and it is one of the things that affect chances of success greatly, especially if field hospital is nowhere in the region. Later in items can be purchased to remove disease, and the next to field hospitals are the only way to get rid of it. However, money is scarce and usually used for much needed consumables or stagecoach upgrades. Even removing a disease costs 12 relics. None to mention when it is added to all the negative quirks that are so easily obtained and removed for 16 relics, how one disease can impact the whole run. Second thing is enemy changes. There is hardly a more annoying thing in a turn-based game than when enemies break the rules and act more than once per round, while we are stuck with thumb up the arse waiting for enemies to play out all the actions. We can get a low chance to act twice or use Jester's skill to grant another character a second action, but it comes at the cost of Jester not doing anything besides that. Enemies that have the ability to act twice, on the other hand, get to act twice in turn 100% of the time. Exemplars, altars, and many others. Bosses I understand to some degree, but normal enemies, including exemplars, should not be able to do that. Also, enemies healing frequently. Again, we can only heal when health is below 50%, while they can do it whenever. Big heals at that as well. Usually the same enemies that can heal also act twice in the round to either buff themselves or allies with shields and dodge buffs. I don't mind them having the ability to heal, but then at least have the same rules in place for enemies. It becomes very annoying getting a good first hit with someone that can't target positions 3 and 4 just for enemies in those positions to heal hurt enemies immediately and afterwards in the same turn buff as well to make them harder to damage or hit. There shouldn't be a pointless action in a game like this, because every little thing matters, but a lot of time I get the feeling unless support bastards are taken care of immediately, that every action done towards any other goal doesn't matter. So fights can play out too similar a lot of the times. Would also love if stress damage skills on enemies are removed completely. What I mean by that is only skills that serve to induce stress and nothing else. Most of the time it seems like the game is cheesing us with those skills because we continue afterwards and enemies don't, so they can work towards the accumulating stress only, which would eventually destroy the whole party due to all meltdown relationship debuffs. Most enemy attacks do induce stress anyway, so why add on top of that specifically and only stress inducing skills? It feels cheap. What I would do to offset that is make buffs and debuffs more meaningful in a way that they don't appear nearly as often as they do now, but when it happens it would significantly help us or the enemy. So enemies would instead of stress skills use debuff skills, but not with 2 or 3 debuffs at once. Often the game feels ridiculous and debuffs lose significance due to the fact that every fart in the wind carries either a buff or debuff, so in the first 2 rounds the whole enemy team and your team can be full of tokens that are almost impossible to control. That goes for skills as well. Too many skills, especially coming from enemies, can do everything at once. Stress, damage over time, debuff and damage. Or at least 3 of them at once. Player skills as well, but to a lesser degree. More methodical approach of having one skill that does one thing or max 2 things would come a long way for combat to become more controllable, with each action being more significant. A lot of these things would also help in managing relationships, a system I really don't like. It is way too random and just another thing to seriously hurt your chances in the long run. I understand there are ways to manage it, but it is one of the things I hate managing because it falls apart too easily. So buying in items, fighting at Oblivion Congress, using Vestal for better relationships with others, all crash and burn too easily despite the huge investment for that not to happen. Then stumbling upon something like academic study or desperate few always gives -2 negative points to at least one party member, while it rewards +1 positive to another. Often feels like I'm playing just to avoid negative relationships and not to actually progress through the game. Upon meltdown, the relationship crumbles almost completely with everyone else. Also, nonsensical interactions during combat that hurt relationships a lot. Had numerous times happened that one of my characters just moves to another position and triggers -2 with another party member. Or killing an enemy makes someone else envious or whatever, which also triggers -2. What the fuck, why? That is clearly to cheat the player out of success, considering how detrimental downgraded skills can be upon negative relationship triggers. Also, if you're not using the skill with the current character build, you have to make room for downgraded skill to be used from there on out, which can seriously screw up character's potential. Downgraded skills come with serious debuffs that just makes it so annoying in the end, next to enemy ability to debuff the player and buff themselves. Can't wait for the game to release so I can install a mod that would remove relationships altogether if there is going to be one. Last thing that bothers me are trinkets. That system makes the game feel unrewarding. Majority comes with big negatives next to positives, and they come as a reward. Not very rewarding, is it? Through a chapter run you might get one or two rare ones that exclusively grant positive boosts, but others all come with negatives. I wouldn't mind these trinkets if we could sell them. Most of the time I end up discarding what was supposed to be a reward after a tough fight. To fix this system for the better, either heavily reduce negative sides to trinkets or let players sell them so we could use the money to remove lots of things that affect the party negatively, like diseases and negative quirks. Lots of positive quirks come with big downside as well. And that is all. I love the game, but some of the systems feel like they are cheesing us out of success, and not in a fun or rewarding way. Anyway, sound off in comments what you think about the stuff mentioned here and what would you like to see changed in the final release. Remember, this is not gospel what I'm saying in this video, just something that in my opinion could be done better. Thanks for watching and see you soon.